Diane Sawyer's special continues on 2020.
Look again at those surveillance photos leaked by the Mexican government, hinting that two actors are so ambitious they would sneak in for a meeting with the dangerous fugitive, the world's biggest drug lord. So did this woman who lives in front of cameras know she was being photographed?
Didn't you know you were under surveillance?
No, to be honest, Diane, I didn't think about it. I thought he knew what he was doing by, texting me. If I knew I was being followed, I would have never gone down there because it's a lot of risk. Not only my life, but everybody's life.
You thought you were going to get in and out and no one would know?
Yes.
And something curious. Here's another surveillance photo. The government says it's the tiny plane El Chapo sent to carry them to the mountain. Did this plane manage to evade government radar?
We live in an era of drones and everything, but it's not like there's a constant beep where he is. They pop up and then they disappear and then they pop up someplace else.
It was flying very low to the ground and bouncing so hard, Del Castillo says she takes a swig of his gift tequila to calm her nerves. And even though she's thinking El Chapo will be impressed, she's bringing the major player from Hollywood, Sean Penn. We now know from text the drug lord has no idea who Sean Penn is and asks to Google him. Next, the group gets into a car for the long drive up the mountain. And since Penn doesn't speak Spanish, she frantically tries to signal him that the driver of the car is El Chapo's son.
Sean was like, well, translate me when it's important. And I'm like, this is important. He's the son.
On the drive, they pass through sophisticated layers of security. Ordinary-looking people keep suddenly appearing out of the woods.
We'll come out with new cell phones or radios or something,
Finally, about 10 or 11 o'clock, she says, they arrive at a clearing on the mountain so dark, she doesn't see who is opening her door.
And he said, amiga. And that's how I knew it was him, because he called me amiga, and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe that we were there. I didn't know how to react.
Did he embrace you? Did he kiss you? What did he do?
He kissed me on the cheek and embraced me. We all do that in Mexico. That's the way we say hello.
So where were they meeting? Multiple reports have identified this place just outside the town of Cosala at the Nuestra Senora Nature Reserve, nestled high on the Sierra Madre Mountains. But we want you to know the reserve itself denies that they were the location. We do know when Del Castillo moved into light, she looked at the man rarely seen by the outside world.
He's actually taller than I thought because they call him Chapo for shorty, and his eyes just penetrate you like a dagger. They're just like mesmerizing in that way, in a way that you cannot just turn around. But it's scary. It's scary, and because it's really strong.
They head into a clearing. We don't know if it's this one, but they're at a wooden table under lights. And security? We've seen pictures of El Chapo's armed soldiers in the past, but Del Castillo says she now knows that the armed soldiers were hiding out in the woods. And Chapo made sure in her eye line there were just a few people, relaxed, no weapons. A table of food arriving almost out of nowhere.
Local family maybe or something like that. Carne asada, tacos, langostinos, a bunch of things. I just saw that it was a big, I just couldn't eat, but I knew I had to. And because I didn't want to be rude, I think I did one taco. I don't even remember. Tacos are my thing, so I went for the taco. Yeah.
7 hours. What did you talk about?
She says he talks about his family, protection of his sons, his mother.
He talked about his mom. He wanted me to meet her.
And she says, as he talks, she's thinking 25 years ago when he became head of the cartel, his eyes seemed almost challenging. But now, she says, his face appears more like a man who wants to give up running.
I sense that he was probably tired.
But he confirms he is sending an ocean of drugs to the United States and around the world. And he is the biggest.
Did he say, I supply more heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, and marijuana than anybody else in the world?
Yes. But he still loves his kids and he still loves his mom. So there's something, there's love inside there somewhere.
We asked, did he talk about his tentacles into the Mexican government, all those bribes, the corruption?
Financing political campaigns, paying for his own protection.
No, he didn't. He said about politics, the politicians go do their job, I do mine, and that's it.
And she notices as he talks, the crime boss displays almost suburban manners.
He doesn't even say a bad word. And nobody around him smokes or do drugs. And it was like, oh, Sean is the only one who smokes here.
Which brings us again to Sean Penn, who doesn't speak Spanish. Depends on her to translate. She says at this dinner, Penn threw her a very sharp and very dangerous curve. She says she simply didn't know that the only reason Penn was coming on the trip was to get an interview of his own for Rolling Stone. She says when he asks her to translate that that's his plan, she's afraid to look alarmed or surprised because Chapo and his sons could turn on the American actor.
What was the expression on your face when you heard it?
I was just like, okay, this is new for me, but I'm scrambling inside of me like, okay. I wanted to grab Sean and put him aside and ask him, excuse me, why didn't you tell me this? It's like there was no way I was going to do that.
You should know that Sean Penn has a very different story about this moment. He says she knew about the article and was, quote, nothing but excited, couldn't wait for it to come out. At some point during their evening on the mountain, Penn wants to make sure he gets a picture with El Chapo by himself.
Do you have a picture?
Yes.
Can we see it?
Sure.
This is her picture, the drug lord in blue shoes and the blue designer shirt. By the way, the shirt is now selling out in stores. She says afterwards they returned to the table once again, still drinking tequila.
We did finish the bottle. Yeah, we all had a little bit of honor. Well,
Did you all get pretty drunk?
Well, his son almost finished the bottle. I was like, hey, it's for your dad.
As the party rolls on into early morning, the drug lord apparently takes a look at his TV dream girl and notices that this is a woman who may have had one tequila too many.
Because he said, I think you have to go to bed. I think the tequila, I was tipsy. And I said, yes, I think it's time.
Tipsy, like dizzy
Like,
tipsy?
yeah, like a little bit, when you know the tequila just got to you. And I was not drunk, but I was not in my entire five senses. And I was like, oh my God. And he said, I'm coming, I'm showing you your room.
Chapo leads her down a dark path. We don't know for sure. It could be one like this in the reserve.
Where I was gonna spend the night. And it was the only time that we were alone. That was really scary.
And coming up next, we'll tell you what he does when they get to the bedroom door.
My heart started pounding.
Stay with us.